Hello, my pixel peepers. All right, so I did this design yesterday for my friend Casey. His app is dribblegame.com. It's actually a really awesome NBA trivia app that he's built. And I went ahead and did this design for him. He didn't even ask me to do it. I just kind of did it because I'm just such a nice guy. And so after I did this design, I posted it on Twitter and into a couple of private DMs and got some feedback. So we're going to go through them real quick, and I'm going to show you how I addressed it. So first of all, there was some concern about the border radius. So they wanted the border radius around the calendar to be increased a little bit. I will show you what that looks like here. You can see that we have actually gone ahead and increased that border radius. There's also some question about the title here, or actually not the title, it's the date call out. And also some layout here. Actually, I want to give a real quick shout out to the person who made that suggestion, because that's going to be Maria Golikova. And Maria was the co-founder and lead designer at Mealime, and is also, I believe, the co-founder and lead designer at Clearful as well. And so I was really excited to get this feedback from her. So I handled her ideas, and then she also had a couple questions here. So she asked, what tool are you using to create the gradient orange background behind the phone in the image? And the answer is my eyes. I just did that by eye. And then how are you creating the dark orange color that highlights the rows in the calendar? Are you using opacity? I'm actually using the HSL picker. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about that real quick. If I go ahead and open up this here in Figma, see how much space it takes up. We got this fill right here. If you go ahead and switch to, actually it's HSB or HSL? HSL. If you go to HSL, you can control the hue down here. You can control the saturation here. But then this is the one that I really like. So if you control the lightness, then that allows you to make things darker or lighter. So you can go from pure white to pure black and anywhere in between. The other thing I like about the HSL picker is on some of these colors, like if we come in here, I don't know if it'll translate into YouTube, but you can see a very narrow band of high saturation, and then it very quickly falls off. It kind of looks like a really pointy peak of a mountain, like that, like a pyramid almost, or like a two-sided pyramid. And so some other colors, though, do not exhibit that. Red is a good one where it goes pretty wide, and I think blue is maybe the best one. So blue, you can see that it maintains that nice visible saturation pretty wide throughout its brightness and lightness bands. So I use this it's just a really easy way for me to see exactly where different colors net out when it comes to how they're perceived by humans. I'm going to back that out if I can. And let's see here. The next thing was someone had suggested, I'm going to pull back over here, that the calendar should be elevated with some shadow. So the way I handled that is I played around with it a little bit, and I decided that what this person was probably looking for was actually a little more contrast. So it's kind of hard to tell, but right here, this is a little bit darker than the background, whereas before it was the same color. And what else we got? This individual, Marcus has a YouTube channel. He's definitely worth following. I'm going to go ahead and share him in the section below. And he says, it'd be nice to see some sort of CTA, and another individual actually suggested a CTA for continue to play. So we're going to go ahead and up here, and you can see that we have, this is blank space before, now we have a play another game CTA at the bottom. Now, some things that I tried out and wasn't a fan of, an individual suggested that we change these prior streaks to be lower opacity. I wasn't a fan of that because it felt like somebody was somehow like losing something that they had already done. So I decided to leave it as depicted here. But then the other thing I started doing is I really wanted to explore this idea of weak streaks. And so these individual bars here are weak streaks. So this is like, here you had a 3-week streak, and then you started another week streak. But we don't call it out in the UI. So I started playing around with that a little bit, and I came up with this, which is you have your week streaks in a different color behind the rest of these. Maybe I could just leave the color the same and make this darker. That's possible. But another thing I tried was to try to actually call out like a weak streak somewhere, but I wasn't really getting anywhere that I felt particularly good about. So if anyone has any feedback there, I would love to hear about it. And I think that's pretty much it. This is a really fun challenge for me. I typically only do one extra pass on this, but if anyone has any ideas, I'm happy to hear about them. And I look forward to doing more of these in the future. Thank you very much.